I also want to point out, not only is this my first time playing in 5 years and we're on the legendary difficulty, but this is my first ever time playing on the PC, okay? So I'm gonna suck pretty bad to start out. Anyway, in my new fiery body, I tried to make myself feel at home in the world of Skyrim, running right past Alduin. I say run like I had any clue what the run button was. I didn't. I had no idea at this point.
There you go. You may as well take on your gear.
Oh, I'm gonna take everyone's gear. You wait. Very first thing I did was I changed my look sensitivity because, oh my god, they were expecting snails to play this game. No weapons for me though, just my flamey flame boy hands. And with that, I was ready. My first soon-to-be charred victims turned up. Die, Imperial scum. Yeah, Magicka early game sucks. This isn't gonna be good. I struggled a lot through this part of the dungeon, even got one of these really awkward looking final kills. I will take all of that. Thank you very much. At Raylof's request, I found some potions nearby. I am gonna focus on alchemy as much as I can in this video, because potions be OP, bruh. At least from what I remember, anyway. In my probable 10,000 hours of playtime. Fun fact, actually bought my first ever Steam key off of eBay to play this. Anyway, popped open this door, got the magical robes off this dude. How quick Magicka drains still sucks, but not quite as bad. And I was mostly just hanging back, letting everyone else do all of the hard work and helping out when I could. I do need to try to learn to remember that this is legendary difficulty and we should be working smarter, not harder. Even with it being so long since I played, I remember so many of the little areas you could get to and find extra little bits. Hang on, do you remember the whole working smarter, not harder situation I talked about 2 seconds ago? Well, I should have let Rayloff take most of the damage from these spiders, but I didn't. Yep, but that was my first death. Second time around, I let Rayloff become a punching bag to these spiders, opted to sneak past the bear, and escaped into the beautiful world of Skyrim. And on my way to the freestanding stones, I did the most unthinkable thing. I picked flowers. I know. Pyromancer, picking flowers don't really go together, right? But we're gonna need to do this if we want to mess with potions. And I really want to mess with potions. Besides picking flowers on my way to Riverwood, I got a really good look at the iconic Bleak Barrow, hit up the magic standing stone, burned some puppies alive, and before I knew it, I made it to Riverwood. You remember all of those bodies we looted earlier on? Well, it's payday. Time to sell it all up.
I don't know why, but I actually believe you. You've got the look of someone who's just seen a dragon.
Look like I've got the face of something, alright. It's like if Pink Eye had a logo, I would be it. It's time to get our butts over to Whiterun, and I had my first run-in with some doggos. And I was all alone this time, and I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty rough. I did a bunch of running around rocks, but in the end, I got him. Nailed the puppas right in the face. If you played this game before, you'll know that the road to Whiterun isn't very far. Along the way, we get stopped by these jerks. I did help them to kill a giant, and then I told them to kindly get lost. It was dark, but I made it to Whiterun, and this is when the game gets fun. Quickly told the Jarl about the idiot dragon on the loose and run over to Dawnguard to buy his Flame Atronach spell. But I didn't have enough money to buy the Firebolt spell, so I wanted to get into alchemy right now so we can make some more money. So I ate a load of the things to find out what mixes with what. Made some pretty bad potions, if I'm being honest with you, and sold them to the local alchemist. Now give me that book, Farengar. Oh man, this is gonna be good. Now we can spawn Flame Atronachs and shoot fireballs. Right, now that I've got my newfound powers, I think it's a good idea. It's Jesus Christ. Sorry about that stutter. It is time to go collect some butterflies. The blue ones specifically. I do want the yellow ones too. We can use those for healing potions, but the blue ones are used to make slightly more expensive potions that I want to sell. And you know, I spent pretty much my whole day doing that, and I'm not even sorry about it. And the final thing on my potion shopping list for now is wheat, so we can use it to make healing potions. Sorry farmers, but I needed more than you do. Mixing the blue mountain flowers with the blue butterfly wings that we got will give us a fairly decently priced potion to sell. Put some attributes into Magicka, and then put some skill points into my alchemy so I can make better healing and Magicka potions. You can actually skip time in Skyrim if you didn't know. You can hit T and fast forward time. I'm going to be avoiding doing this most I can because obviously I don't want to skip all of my days in this video. I will be using it sometimes, but I'm going to avoid it best I can. Oh, and there's also fast traveling. I'm going to be doing that sometimes, but that does also cost you hours in-game. So it's a scary, dark trip to Bleak Barrow for me. Hello, fellow Pyromaniacs. It was your standard Bleak Barrow trip. Bumped into the wolf. Holy crap. Easily conquered the tower on the hill with the bandits, and finally made it to the ever awesome looking Bleak Falls Barrow. Once inside, I pretty much dominated the whole thing until I got to this jerk. Cheap shot. It's been 5 heckin' long years and I still remember how to do this without looking at the claw. Finally made it to the end, sucked up the dragon power from the wall, and killed this guy. After that, I snatched the dragonstone off that guy for Farengar, got some sweet, sweet loot, took these mountain flowers and that skull, yoink, before realizing we had made it to day 3. And now it's time to head back to Farengar to give him this dragonstone.
Stone of Bleak Falls Barrow.
I'm gonna be doing a bunch of this throughout the playthrough, but I run over to the alchemist to sell her some of my potions. I then bought a bunch of her ingredients, sold her potions. Oh, and I didn't do it just yet, but I am gonna be paying her to level up my alchemy as well. Sold some potions to this chump, and then bought this pretty cool destruction robe to help out with my fire casting. Speaking about destruction spells, I got 2 perk points at this point that I put into destruction and conjuration. It's not gonna help out too much yet, but moving up in the world anyway. And speaking about moving up in the world, it's time to take a trip to school. And as of right now, there is 2 ways we can get to Winterhold. Either we pay this man to take us by horse, or we walk. And walk I did. I walked. I walked for so long. I didn't have to, but I wanted to take the chance to collect some more potion ingredients. And as you can see in the distance, after a long walk, finally made it to Winterhold. When I made it into town, I sold my potions to this lady. And then I showed Feralda that I can summon a flame Atronach so she would let me come to school. Oh, and then I remembered that she can teach me destruction. I'll do more of that later. It was time to check out my dorm room, and honestly, it wasn't that impressive. Made some slight adjustments to the decoration in the room, and I was gone. Off to my first magic class I go, but this isn't fire, what the heck is going on? I then fell off this roof, don't ask questions. I was looking for someone and I thought I could make it. Don't panic though, this is a video game and I can respawn. I found him in the end, this guy can teach me enchanting. With my flamey flamboy hands back in action, it was time to go on a field trip with the college. Give me this stuff, you not as evil as me, man. I had only been added to my magica pool at this point when I level up, and I continue to do that. I did put a point into conjuration at the apprentice level, so that now when I summon a flame Atronach, it uses barely any magicka. Like I said earlier on, I do want to avoid skipping time in this game, however the teacher wasn't quite here yet, so I did it.
Who knows what we might find in here?
Oh, not much, Jazago. Just flames and destruction. Oh, and this big floating bowl, which is a mystery to me what it is, I forgot. I sucked up some more dragon magic from the wall, and with the bowl knowledge in mind, I headed back to the college. Holy heck, that is a lot of potion ingredients. Sadly, I can't take them all, though, because it's considered stealing. Informed Savos about the big floaty bowl and bumped into this jerk. Trust me, I tried really hard holding back these flames. And to be fair, I did. It was time to travel back to Whiterun for now. Now, I did come for butterflies, but I ended up triggering the stupid first dragon fight quest. Now, hear me out. I helped out best I could fighting this scaly boy, but I got stuck in a stupid tower. God got me stuck. And when I did make it out, it was a mistake because the dragon gave me a taste of my own medicine and the garden wouldn't let me back in. Yeah, do you remember those potions we made? Well, they're coming in handy now. And after blasting the jerk in the neck 50,000 times, finally, it was dead. Went to investigate and hey, would you look at that? I'm Dragonborn.
Can't believe it. You're Dragonborn.
Now stand aside, God. This Dragonborn Pyromaniac has butterflies to catch and doggos to slay. I basically spent all of day 6 doing that, just collecting butterflies for my potions. My notes for day 7 say I got some more training in alchemy, training in destruction. It's day 8 now, and it's time to reclaim some books that were stolen from the college. The walk to the book's location was a lot closer to Whiterun than it was Winterhold though, so I quickly teleported back to Whiterun and made my way to the books. Had an epic battle with a fellow fire mage for realizing quite how underpowered I was for this place. I'll be back, you jerks. Before I return and get my revenge though, I did end up getting this really cool headpiece on this day. Created potions are 15% more powerful when I wear it, in turn making them 15% more expensive as well. I've been working on my alchemy skill line a fair bit, and also conjuration and destruction. Those are the 3 main ones so far. And nothing too crazy, but I did start to dabble in smithing just a little bit. Oh, and I picked up a drop from the local tavern to go take out these bandits. Pretty easy money, but the game changer in my revenge plan was Janessa, this dark elf. And I know, I could have got Lydia for free, but just don't judge me, okay? I got my destruction worked on just a little bit, and before you know it, I was back looking for those stolen books for the college. And let me tell you something, having a companion with me made things so much easier just to burn things at a distance while they ran in there and took all of the hits. And oh man, I discovered my first vampires of the playthrough, and they were stuck behind bars. I did consider letting them out, but they were rude to me.
Out of the way, meat.
So I didn't. Something that I did do though was make it to the end, grab the 3 books that were stolen from the college, and slam this lady in the face with some fire before getting some sweet loot. Got those books back to the college library and realized they had moved the big ball from the college field trip into the college itself. And next it's time to go below the college. I found this trapdoor that we had to go down, and once inside I had the stupidest death ever. I literally fell off onto a cart and died. Legendary difficulty is stupid. Made it where I had to go, and I was told I needed to get the Staff of Magnus by this thing. Don't ask me why, I was not really paying attention. My hunt for the staff was sending me pretty far away. The closest place to the location I had to go was actually Felglow Keep, so I TP'd to that. By far the most dangerous walk on this fire-filled journey I've had so far. I bumped into a dragon, kind of avoided it though, so that's nice. Oh god, it's a dwarven dungeon. Great. Inside was this dead guy, a bunch of robotic bugs, and these elves that spent so much time underground that they're blind, but they knew exactly where the heck I was. Do you see that? Right there? That's a trap. And guess who didn't see it? And you know that 500 coin that we spent on that companion? Well, don't ask me why, but this was really annoying. It decided to just disappear. The companion was nowhere to be seen. For now, I left. Doing this on legendary difficulty alone was gonna be kinda hard. We needed a new companion. Before I found a new companion though, my inventory load was insanely high because of all of these potion ingredients. I picked the barrel in my dorm room and just filled it up. That's nearly 200 carry weight out of 300 that was being taken up by potion ingredients. That's kinda insane. I should have put these away ages ago. So I was going to go get Lydia, but I had this happen to me. Which can only mean one thing. There's a stupid dragon around. It was a fairly easy dragon fight though. There's a ton of mages just blasting fireballs at it. It was great. There was even this guy just punching the heck out of him. What the heck? And don't even get me started on this Dragon Ball Z nonsense. Look at this. Just shoots him up in the sky. Anyways, got off one last fireball into the dragon's neck before another mage stole my kill. Sucked up my second dragon soul and then headed off to Whiterun to grab Lydia, who was a free companion because I did all of the Dragonborn questline up until this point.
Lead the way.
Do you know any fire spells, Lydia? No? Moving swiftly along, I put a point into Augmented Flames, which makes my fire spells do 25% more damage. That's gonna be killer. And with that, it was time to try again. Once inside, I gotta say, Augmented Flames paired with my new companion and my Flame Atronach made these Falmor a cakewalk. And don't tell anyone, I got a little bit confused at the end of what to do here. There was this puzzle. Turns out I had to betray my flamey ways and take out a ice spell. Pushed a couple buttons and we were done. No Staff of Magnus at the end for me though, there was just this map, which told me to go somewhere else. Meanwhile, back at the college, the Ancano jerk was messing with the ball. There was this massive burst of light that came from the ball and this poor sod was dead.
Oh. You can see me?
Chaos continued and Winterhold was getting attacked by these ice wraiths. I had to kill 10 of these guys, and if I'm being honest with you, it took a long time. But with the help of like everyone in Winterhold, took out the final one and returned to the college to talk to this lady. Told me it was time to go to Labyrinthian to find a Staff of Magnus. It was in a really awkward spot too, like over the mountain. I'd not been that far up on the map yet. And man, I remember this place being really fun to run through, but also I know there was trolls here, so I wasn't really looking forward to that. They do regenerate health and they hit pretty hard, but as long as I stayed back, they were fine. Troll fat, gonna turn you into a potion. Found Savos' ghost, and there was some other guys too. I don't know who the heck these people were. Now it's pretty cheeky here. The game wants you to flick the lever, walk through this gate, and have it close behind you when a dragon digs out of the floor. I was really not strong enough yet to go through that gate, so I just kept spawning my Atronach and backing off. However, there was a few mistakes, and I died. Round 2, I thought he was dead here because he had no health bar. Turns out he wasn't. This dragon stood no chance though. I took him out first try. Look at that. Sucker. Sent in my Flame Atronach though to make sure. Yep, all good. Moving on from this hellhole of a room, I came across a wisp mother. Not too difficult though. The enemies in Labyrinthia though got progressively tougher. I came across this Droga Deathlord that was guarding a dragon wall. Took a long time, but I got him in the end and took the word of power from the wall. Finally, I made it to the end. There was this guy that I think was charging the Staff of Magnus. I don't really know. I had to interrupt this muppet over here to get them to fight me. He died fairly quickly, and so did his other ghosty friend, but this main dude was really tough. The worst thing about this fight is he kept taking control of my flame Atronach. I had no idea that was a thing in this game. Up until now, this was 100% the longest fight I had to go through. This was grueling. Oh man, this felt so good taking him out though. Dropped the Staff of Magnus. I took it, obviously. And he also had this mask. I like to collect these. Do you remember that Ancano guy that was messing with the ball back at the college? Well, he sent his friend here, and I remember he was gonna attack me. So I struck first. Normally, he does want to have a conversation with you before he attacks, but I wasn't gonna let it happen. Back at the college now, there was this weird wall thing in the way. I had to use the Staff of Magnus to break my way through. I was a little bit confused here. It's time for the Ancano fight. The way it worked is he would open the ball, which would make him invincible. I had to close it using the Staff of Magnus, but the Staff of Magnus also needed recharging. And when the ball got closed enough, I could finally attack him with my regular fire spells. And Lydia was no help in this fight. She was paralyzed as heck. Look at that. It's fine, she'll be okay later. And this was another pretty long fight, but everyone burns in the end. And then these three mages decided that the world wasn't quite ready for the weird ball thing and took it. And that is basically all of the questline in the college. It was also given the Archmage's quarters, which was really nice. And speaking about nice things, this new outfit I got, oh my god. Archmage's cloak thing? I don't know. It's really good though. And now that this place is mine, it doesn't count as stealing when I try and take these plants. So I take every single one of them. They'll respawn at some point, it's fine. There was a lot of good stuff in here though. They had an alchemy station, an enchanting table, loads of potion ingredients. Literally everything I needed. So yeah, I'm moving in. Now that the college questline was done, I really wanted to get a horse. Not so much to ride around, but when I'm exploring out in the wild, it's just an extra thing that can take damage for me. Gave 1,000 gold to this guy, and this lovely fellow is mine. I took him for a quick spin to see if the blue mountain flowers had respawned along this road. Sadly, they had not yet. For the rest of day 17, I worked on some things that were really important for the future, mostly just leveling, smithing, enchanting, and alchemy. Made a bunch of iron daggers and enchanted them. This is not only good for leveling my skills, but I could also sell these for a fair chunk of coin. Also a blacksmith in Riften that can teach me smithing. Only thing is, it's pretty far away, so I did want to use one of the horse carriages. This is embarrassing. I really struggled to get off the horse here. I forgot what button it was. Just kept spamming like every button on my keyboard. And if you're wondering, it was E. I found it out in the end. Walking for the extra potion ingredients is nice, but I don't want to do it all of the time. And when I made it, it was nighttime and there was a heckin' dragon. Luckily, there was a load of people around, so it didn't make things too difficult. Once inside, I skipped some time because it was too early for the blacksmith to be out yet. The way training works in this game, if you didn't know, is you can train a level 5 times in one overall level. So if I train 5 times, then I level up my main character, I can then train another 5 times after that. Still on my training spree, I wanted to go to Solitude now to hit up the Bard's College. Solitude may be one of my favorite towns. I don't know what it is, I just feel so happy walking around this place. Minus the public executions. Anyway, I'm here for the Bard's College, because in the Bard's College there is a guy that can teach me speech, which is another very important skill. But since I've already trained 5 times with this level, I need to level up again. Bought a bunch of potion ingredients, made some potions. I also stole my first thing, don't tell anybody. I took these iron ingots, and I turned them into daggers. Hit level 20 overall, and it was time to train my speech. I seen I had this quest, and it's kinda got fire in the name, so I had to do it. Can someone explain to me why this game is so pretty? I just kept stopping to look at the view. It's only a side quest though, nothing too crazy. Had to get a book, a page of a book. I don't know, something about a book. Encountered about 20 Droger in this place. They was swinging traps too. I don't know how I didn't die here, but I'll take it. Got smacked right in the back by it. Oh my god, finally. Found this room and there it was. There's that book I needed. Give me that.
I've
I've got a bad feeling about this.
You and me both, Lydia. There was a ton of Droger in this room, including King Olaf One Eye. Nice surprise that there was a word of power on the wall too. I took it. And I was out. Quickly returned the book back to the Bard's College. Then he was off to the Blue Palace so this guy could read it out to the Jarl. This was really boring, but I was promised a festival when it got nighttime. It wasn't nighttime yet though, so it was a shopping trip for me. I got this really nice alchemy necklace. Better potions, here I come. Nice festival time. We're gonna burn this guy. I think it's supposed to be King Olaf.
He becomes a full-fledged member of the Bard's College.
Back again to Whiterun now to see if the blue mountain flowers had respawned. Spoilers, they hadn't. This was quite hilarious. Found a dragon fighting a giant. I helped out the dragon first. Then I betrayed the stupid lizard for its soul. Still working on my smithing skill. On day 21, I put a point into dwarven smithing. This means I can make dwarven bows to level up a little bit quicker. We are going to be starting something that's going to take a big chunk of time now. We're heading to Falkreath. I want to buy a house. I want to buy some land to build a house, more specifically. You can buy houses off Jarls, but generally it's better to make your own house. And there is 3 places you can buy plots of land to build your house in Skyrim. I'm going to pick the Falkreath house just because I like the area a lot. The main reason why I wanted to buy a plot of land to build my own house is because I get to pick exactly what goes inside it. You can get a greenhouse so I can grow my own ingredients. Once there, I had a really awkward conversation with the Jarl. It seemed like he thought I had been here before, but I definitely have not. This was my first trip here.
You've proven reliable. There's a group of bandits in my hold that I may have had a few discreet dealings with.
All I had to do was take out these bandits and he would offer me a plot of land to buy. I stole their cabbages too, so they knew I meant business. I took out the leader and got this really cool kill of this guy getting knocked off a bridge. By the time I made it to Falkreath, it was early in the morning, and at this point, I didn't know how to move the camera around when I was chatting to NPCs. So this was kinda awkward, just looking at his crotch. But it's fine, because now I can buy a plot of land in Falkreath, and I did. I woke up this lady and purchased it right away for 5,000 coin. It was still really early and dark, but I was excited, so I was off to go see. Lovely neighbors, these knobs tried to drop a boulder on my head. Never had that happen purchasing a house. Life is probably gonna be better without neighbors anyway. Here it is. Try not to judge it too much because it's raining. Normally this place is crazy pretty. The game gives you some basic things just to get started on the house. But to make this house good, we are gonna have to buy a lot of stuff from stores. Had a chest inside though, so I could throw all of my potion ingredients in. These things were weighing me down like crazy still. On my way to buy wood for my house, and I spotted these 2 gigantic spiders fighting. I picked my favorite and I killed the other one. But then I get betrayed by the favorite. That was my first death in a while. Damn it. Lucky for me, there was a place down the road I could buy logs from. Bad thing though. She's a vampire. So far, my experience with vampires isn't that great, lady. I need wood though, so we'll see how this goes. My notes say that I spent all of day 23 and 24 just working on the house and buying things from stores to work on the house. Now, I did go back to the College of Winterhold, but it was to grab all of my stuff because I was leaving. Moving into the new house. I was gonna fast travel home, but the college was getting attacked by this blood dragon. I think what was taking so long with this one is that none of the mages were helping out. It just took a long time. Stupid house was still looking pretty empty, but I got my greenhouse room all decorated, and now I can plant in some ingredients. I split the planters between creep cluster, Mara tapanella, and scaly foliota. Feel like I butchered at least 3 of those names. Next, I needed to get some gold to make an enchanting table at my house, and to do that, I was gonna get a transmute mineral ore spell. You get it from this bandit lair called Halted Stream Camp. It's a really cool spell. It turns any iron that I have in my inventory into gold, pretty much. And what's more convenient is that there's loads of iron in this mine already for me to get. There's no flames when I cast this spell, but super easy gold. Day 28, and the house is finally done. Let me give you a tour. Here's the main room. Going off onto the left, there is our greenhouse. Got another room back here. Leads into our alchemy tower at the back. On the right, I picked to build a kitchen. I know you don't really need the alchemy tower to get an alchemy table in the house. I already have one right behind me there, but don't judge me, okay? Master bedroom in here. On the other side, we got the spare room with the spare beds. Down here, we have a fancy enchanting table. And at the back, we have the extra alchemy table in the alchemy tower that I talked about. Oh, and last but not least, I have a cellar as well, which has basically everything I need for smithing. Can you believe they're still adding things to this game? I don't know how long ago this was, but they did not have fish tanks in this game last time I played. House is done, but it's looking pretty empty at the minute, so let's start filling it up. You can get married in Skyrim, and to do that, you have to head to Riften, talk to this priest in the inn, buy an amulet of Mara off him, and when you wear it, some NPCs around the world will offer to marry you, but only if they're in good favor with you. So in Stardew Valley, my girlfriend married another man. It's time to get some revenge. I'm gonna marry this guy. At least I wanted to, but to get in good favor with this guy, I had to do some quests, and I didn't know how to trigger the quests. So plan B, I had to head home and grab these fire salts. You remember that blacksmith that trained me a while ago? Well, he wanted the fire salts for his forge. After I got them to him, he was eligible for marriage. Oh boy, revenge, here I come. Some reason, the priest, on my big day, gets confused.
I would be getting married.
What do you need?
What do I need? A wedding, please, mate. Skip some time and the ceremony was underway. Nice.
Do you agree to be bound together in love, now and forever?
I do. Now and forever.
Husband acquired. You can adopt children in Skyrim too. It's a pretty easy process too. All you have to do is have a house and make sure you have room in that house, walk up to them and offer to adopt them. Lucia was the first pick and I was off to Solitude to get the next child. Took a while to find this one. I looked everywhere for it. Stupid blood dragon turned up and that is the moment I find the child. What timing, jeez. When it comes to adoption, 2 kids is the most you can get, so I sent Blaze home and helped take out this dragon. While I was at Solitude, I figured I would get myself a steward. Lydia did offer to be my steward, but I didn't want her to be. Mostly because I didn't know if she would have to stop following me around to stay home and be the steward, so I didn't want that. Instead, I picked this guy, Belrand. It cost me 500 gold to get him to follow me back home. Fast traveled home and accepted when he offered to be my steward. Looked like he was gonna kill me if I said no. Since I let Belrand follow me, I had to go get Lydia back. But she hadn't quite returned to Whiterun yet, so I just power leveled potions using those free ingredients that we were growing back home. Oh, and I also unlocked the green thumb skill today, which lets me get 2 ingredients from plants, not just 1. I hate doing it, but I did skip some time till she got here. It's better than making multiple trips to come see if she's back, right? House is looking a little bit more alive now. Got my steward over here, got Lydia following me, got the kids upstairs playing, and the revenge husband in the kitchen making me foods. Take that, IRL girlfriend. He's opened some kind of store too, so every time I come and talk to him, I get a little bit of money, so that's nice. Not only that, but I have a smithing trainer in my house at all times. And he still works as a merchant, so I can buy and sell off him. I can train with him, and then I can sell him stuff. The best husband ever. I am so lucky. The steward is nice for a bunch of things. Obviously, an extra sword around the house isn't too bad. We can get bandits turning up sometimes. He can help decorate the house, but I don't need that since it's all decorated. You can hire bards, get a carriage outside, get some animals for us like chickens and cows, and an extra horse. I'm gonna go ahead and just do all of those. Jesus Christ, the horse is here already. And the cows. And the chickens. We got eggs already. Thank you very much. Oh, and look, here's the bard. He turned up pretty quick too.
When his ugly red head rolled around on the floor.
There is enough being lazy around the house. Let's get back to business. I keep thinking back to day 9 where that vampire was rude to me. So I've decided I'm gonna kill every last one of the jerks. Well, maybe not all of them, but some of them, anyway. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna be doing the Dawnguard DLC, which might be my favorite DLC of any game ever. Either you can side with the vampires and become one, or you side with the Dawnguard and you hunt them. There is a fair bit of replayability. You do end up in the same spot at the end, but it's really good, okay? Anyway, to get started, we have to pass through this mountain. I cannot get enough of the scenery in this game. So many screenshots opportunities. Found this guy. I want to be Dawnguard recruit. We held hands walking up to the fort. Don't tell my husband though. We've only been married a few days. We're not going to be using them right now because my main weapon is fire, but this DLC also added crossbows, which was like the coolest thing back when I started to play this DLC. Got myself inside to meet Isran and he immediately sent me off to Dim Hollow Crypt. Pretty much told me something, vampires seeking something. And can I just say, one bad thing about this DLC with this video is that there is a lot of distance between locations, so there's just gonna be so much time getting wasted on fast traveling. Fast traveling aside, let's go see what these vampires were seeking then. First dungeon of the DLC, I'm ready to kill some bloodsuckers. Suck on these flames, Edward Cullen. A lot of the first vampires I came across sucked. literally. But some of them, they were casting this lifesteal spell and it was really annoying. Got me questioning if I was ready for this place a few times. Powered on through till I made it to this impressive looking room. Took out these vampires. Hopefully I'm up to date with my tetanus. This thing stabbed the heck out of me. And had to solve this weird puzzle thing. I was pushing stuff around and I didn't really know what I was doing. But this was what the vampires were seeking. A vampire princess with an elder scroll on her back. Convinces me not to kill her because she's important. And I'm supposed to lead her home here. This doesn't sound sus at all. Not done with this place yet though. There was a load of Drogas still left to kill. And I came across this room that had a word of power on the wall. Ended up getting into a fight with this Droga death overlord. I thought I died here. It casted some kind of shout. I was fine. Hit the wall and walked it off. That place was fun, but we got places to be. Gotta take this vampire princess back to her dad. Again, that doesn't sound sus in the slightest. It's been a while since I died, so perfect time for a bad to jump scare me. Crap. Double digits with these deaths now. There it is, I made it. We have to take this boat to get across the water. So this is where you get to decide if you want to join the vampire side, or we can go back to the Dawnguard. Lord Harkon offers to give you a nibble so you can turn into a vampire.
That I offer. Now, make your choice.
Jesus Christ, put some clothes on, I'm newly married. I told him I was Team Jacob and he kicked my butt out of the castle. Do you remember what I said about there being insanely long fast travels between this DLC? Well, this is honestly the longest. Going from here all the way back to the Dawnguard, one side of the map to the other, it was crazy. Made it back to the fort and the vampires were attacking. After I cleared them out, I told Isran I led a vampire princess back to her family, and he was pretty upset. I know, I would have been too. I thought it was weird. He gave me a new task though. I had to go and get Gunmar and Serene and recruit them to the Dawnguard. Didn't take me long to find him, but he'd been tracking a bear for days, supposedly, so he didn't want to come back to the fort until it was dead. This felt kinda cruel. There was like 4 of us in here to take on this bear. Killed that pesky bear and sent Gunmar back to the fort. Now this was awkward. I made it back home so I could drop off some things, and my daughter asked me for a gift. The only option it was giving me to give her though was this dagger, so I guess enjoy? Just don't tell Dad number 2, I'll be sleeping on the couch otherwise. This was a bit of a fright. I noticed under my active effects I had a reduced health debuff. I had been bit by a vampire. Luckily I caught it early and I could remove it just by touching one of these shrines. If you take too long to cure it though, it does get a little bit more complicated to cure. Panic out the way, I was off to go get Serene now. And she wanted me to complete a task just like I did Gunmar, but my speech level was high, so I just persuaded her to come back.
Fine, fine. Can't afford to forget about this work, though.
Well, this place looks different. There's a lot more defenses put up now. This was lucky. Inside, he tested if we were all vampires or not. I literally just cured myself that timing. And it turns out Serena had came to the fort. She said we were gonna need her help because her nutjob father wanted to control the sun and make it so vampires didn't need to fear it. Had to speak to Isran to let her help us out. We needed to read that gigantic scroll on her back, but none of us could read it. It's time to find a moth priest that could. Now, he was telling me I had to go check out Winterhold to try to get some information as to where the moth priest was, but I played this game about 50 times and I know exactly where he's at. So we could skip a bunch of steps. I went right to this cart where there was some vampires guarding it. Die, vampire scum. Followed this heckin' long blood trail. Honestly, have no idea how this guy is still alive. There is just so much blood everywhere. It led to this cave up ahead, and this place, gotta say, made me feel extremely underpowered. Oh, no, come on, no. It was extremely rough, but I did end up finding this egg on this guy. Put the weird egg thing on this pedestal so it would break the barrier where the moth priest was being held. Now I like fire, but not when it's used against me. This really hurt. Oh, it's on now, you jerk. This is kind of weird. I calmed down the moth priest using fire of all things. I guess he was under some kind of spell or something. I don't really know. What in the vampire nonsense is going on here? You got an issue with that coffin, Serena? Anyway, the moth priest Dexian was sent back to the fort. I had to go talk to Isran now. Since I was nearby, I traveled to Solitude really quick to train my speech. I made it past level 50 for my speech, and I could put a point into this skill, which let me trade anything to any trader. Before today, I couldn't sell things like potions to blacksmiths, and now I can. This is gonna be a game changer. I went to Whiterun to do some trading, and there was a vampire attack. I couldn't do very much though, because I didn't really want to hit the townfolk and get a bounty. They didn't really need my help. I kind of felt bad for the bloodsucker. Spent a lot of day 43 just leveling up smithing, leveling up enchanting. I did get my skills up pretty high of enchanting. I'm level 80 now, so I can make some pretty decent gear if I wanted to. Right, so I started to look at the smithing skill line to see what I could make, and dwarven smithing was the only thing I had a point into at the minute. Orcish smithing, if I leveled up one more time, I could have had a point into that. So he's off to go wake up Farengar. He sells a muffle spell, where if you just continuously cast it over and over again, it will level up illusion. If you want to know what the spell does, when I cast it for a short period of time, I get to be a little bit quieter, so it's really good for the sneaky type. Or the cheaty wanted to get an extra level because he wants Orcish smithing type. That'll do it, thank you very much. Now like I said, I hate doing this, but I did skip some time. I was trying to get the right ingots I needed off the blacksmiths in town to make the Orcish armor, and I just had to keep resetting their trades. I know there's different ways you could do this, like you can save the game and hit them or something. I don't know, there's some kind of trick, but I was just skipping time. Got myself all of the ingots I needed, made the Orcish armor, and by now I had some armor that I could wear to improve my smithing as well. I threw it all on, I drank my smithing potion, and upgraded all of my Orcish gear to legendary. One problem, I didn't want to enchant my stuff now, because I can only put one enchantment on my gear, and if I waited till enchanting level 100, I could put 2 enchantments on each piece of gear. Now I have a lot of empty soul gems. If I could get some souls for those gems, I think it would help out with our enchanting issue, so off to Farengar now, bought a soul trap spell. While I was there, I picked up some fancy new flame spells for myself too. I got Fireball, I got Flame Cloak, and I got Fire Rune. When I cast Flame Cloak, there's a fiery kind of aura around me, and when I get close to enemies or enemies get close to me, they take a little bit of damage for a while. And as for Fire Rune, it lets me set a fiery trap on the floor. When people walk over it, they explode. And spoilers, I never really used those 2 spells I just showed off, sadly, but Fireball is a whole different beast. I am gonna abuse the heck out of this thing. It's just like a beefy version of the spell I've been using this whole time. To explain Soul Trap, how it works is I cast Soul Trap on an enemy, and if it dies shortly after it gets casted on it, I get to steal its soul and put it in a soul gem. And then I can use that soul gem to enchant things with and level up my enchanting. If I'm being totally honest, 80% of my souls I got on this day were from these mud crabs. I traveled all the way from Whiterun to Solitude collecting souls. I had a fairly decent amount right now. Still didn't have enough though. This has taken a lot longer than I was anticipating. Now don't tell anyone, I even resorted to stealing soul gems from people. Oh, if my husband only knew the life of crime I was pursuing. Day 48 now, and I did briefly return back to Fort Dawnguard. You remember that prophet that we saved from the vampires? It's time for him to read the Elder Scroll now. He mentioned Ariel's bow, and there being more to the prophecy written in other Elder Scrolls. Despite being mean to Serena every chance I got, she was trying to help.
We need to find my mother, Valeria. She'll definitely know where it is.
But Serena's mother can wait. I changed my mind on my armor too. I was gonna use Orcish, but we are so close now to smithing level 90 that I could just make Daedra armor soon. And to make Daedra armor, I needed Daedra hearts. I already had 2. I forget where I got those. You need 4 to make a full set of armor, and you can buy them from alchemists. I hit up 2 alchemy stores, and each one had 1 Daedra heart each. Don't get me wrong, I'm really happy that I hit level 100 enchanting, but I do love the grind of getting there, so I'm kinda sad that it's over. That being said, once you hit level 100 for a skill, you can reset it, making it legendary, and you can redo the whole line again, but I'm not gonna do that. At least for now. Maybe I'll do it in the future. So we are ready to make some killer gear. I made a full set of alchemy gear, crafted a nice blacksmith potion, made a full set of Daedric armor, upgraded it to legendary. I know there's tricks you can do to make this armor better, but I'm fine just like this. And for enchantments, I went with a conjuration and destruction one, so it costs 25% less to cast those spells, and if I have 4 of those, it means 100% less cost for magicka casting those kinds of spells. Yeah, that's right, I don't need magicka anymore. I can just cast these spells infinitely. Now, we have been putting a bunch of points into magicka, and it's still kinda, like, I don't regret it because it was really important. I would have struggled to play through up until this point without putting points into magicka, and it's not like that still won't help me out if I want to cast things like illusion spells. I did know fairly early on that I was gonna be getting those enchants, so I knew what I was doing. I don't regret it. I am ready. Got my new spells, got my new armor. Let's take this boat. Gonna continue with this Dawnguard questline. Serena said that we needed to try to find her mother, and we might be able to find her at Serena's psycho dad's castle, but we have to sneak in through the side so they don't see us. This infinite casting thing is gonna be so much fun. Oh, this rat had no idea what was going on. Slowly started to push my way through, and I ain't gonna lie, every time I got into a fight, I didn't really know what the heck I was hitting. I was just blasting things. When I made it to the courtyard, there was some moon crests that were missing from this thing, so I had to look around to try to find those. Once they were found and returned to their original location, this secret door opened up, followed the staircase down, and we were into the ruins. This place is filled with skeletons. Now, I remember the jump scare that I had back in the day here. That gargoyle is very much alive, and I can't trigger it unless I walk up to it. At least I was ready for it this time. This new armor with this new spell, I cannot tell you how much fun I'm having here. Just no care in the world. Don't have to worry about magicka, nothing. And the best thing about this fireball spell is that I don't have to hit the enemy. I can just hit a wall near it and it'll still take damage. I love this room. So many potion ingredients everywhere. This is an alchemist's dream. I just took all of them. But, you know, earlier when I was talking about having no problems, well, Serena is missing. She wasn't following me, so I had to backtrack. There she is. Stuck as heck. What is going on here? I was starting to get a little bit worried, but after fast forwarding some time and standing outside the castle, she came back. Now it's time to run all the way back through this stupid castle. At least all the enemies are gone now.
Look at all this. She must have spent years collecting these components. Circle, but it's obviously something. Let's take a look around. There has to be something here that tells us where she's gone.
Found the mother's journal, and Serena said how her mother had a theory on soul gems, how when they get used, the souls don't just disappear, they end up in the soul cairn. And that she herself might be hiding there, so we need to get to the soul cairn. In order to get to it, we're gonna need some ingredients, her blood, which was an issue, but Serena is her daughter, so she shares the blood. But to enter the soul cairn, I had to either be a vampire or have my soul trapped. I really did not want to be a vampire. The other option with the soul trap was that I will be weaker when I'm in there. So when Serena offered to give me a nibble, I said how I was married and that no, just soul trap me. That was the lamest thing I've ever seen. As lame as that was, the soul cairn was the opposite of lame. Look at this place. Crazy cool looking. There was plenty of enemies in here, mostly bone men, but not too difficult to take out. There's that castle off in the distance we had to go to. Once there, found Serena's mother. She was stuck behind this transparent barrier of sorts. I found out for her father to complete the prophecy to control the sun, Serena had to die. To lower the barrier and get to Serena's mother and the Elder Scroll, I had to kill 3 keepers that were scattered around the soul cairn. I don't know if I'm just insanely overpowered right now or these guys were just a joke, but they weren't too hard. This guy was stuck on the edge, just shot him a couple times and he fell off. Barrier was down, met Mum, followed her inside, immediately was attacked by a zombie dragon called Durnavir. This thing did absolutely nothing to me. I didn't get close enough for it to try to bite me or anything, but it was pretty useless. Slayed the sucker, then went to talk to Mother Vampire. She thinks that the dragon can't be slayed and it was just displaced by my final blow. So we had to quickly grab the Elder Scroll, and then it was time to leave the Soul Cairn. Only problem is, on the other side of this door, door, Durnavir was stood waiting. Had a lovely chat, and he told me how he wishes he could still be flying over in Skyrim. Told me all I had to do was speak his name and he would aid me in battle. Pretty cool, but I'm likely never to do that, Durnavir. Wanted to get my soul back before I left too, so I had to go see this giant mean crystal zap the heck out of me. Opened this chest, grabbed the soul essence gem, and I ran away. Back through the entrance of the soul cairn and into Skyrim. Not being here for a while, I had to return to the college to try to find out where the next Elder Scroll was hidden. This librarian gave me some books that had info in it, and he told me I had to go out to the ice plains to find a guy. And that guy was Septimus Singus. I was stupid here, I didn't really pay attention, and I just skipped most of the dialogue with this guy. But he gave me a lexicon and told me I had to go and transcribe it. Hands up if you know what that means. My hand is staying firmly down. So we're off to my favorite location in the whole game now. Doesn't look like much to start out, but it's so pretty when you get deep into this place. Inside there were lots of spider workers, dwarven spheres, and I found this chest that had a fork and a diamond in it. I don't care too much for that diamond, but the fork was a steel. Now this was available ages ago. I should have done it a long time ago, but I put a point into destruction dual casting, so when I dual cast a spell, it makes me cast a stronger version of it. So we had the spider workers, we had the dwarven spheres, and now we have Falmor. As long as I keep my distance though, I should be fine. We're getting close to my favorite area in the game now, but this place also houses one of my favorite enemies in the game too, a dwarven centurion. I remember the first time I seen one of these guys come alive, I was terrified. I wish I got to fight more of these. I feel like there's not enough of them scattered around the world. Bumped into these two people having an argument, and I didn't even wait around, I just started firing my fireballs. The lady had an interesting shield, which I'm likely never to use, but I've been collecting things like this throughout my playthrough, so I'll take it. Don't ask me where I got this ball from, but I used it to open up this secret door with the dwarven mechanism. And here we are, Blackreach. I will always forget the name of this place, but never forget what it looks like. Look at that. So pretty. I know this playthrough mainly is about fire and destruction, but even Pyromaniac's gotta stop and admire the view sometimes. Don't you worry, I made sure to stroll through this place as slow as I could. I don't really know the next time I'll get a chance to come back here. It's a nice big open area, but not really a lot to do, so it was over really quick. Sadly. Made it to the end, opened up this door, there was an elevator to take, and it led to another one of these big stupid ball puzzle things. I guess this is where I transcribed that lexicon that guy was talking about. I don't really know how to explain what was going on here, I just channeled my inner DD from Dexter's lab and pushed a ton of buttons until it worked. And down came the crystal that held the Elder Scroll. Nice, give me that. Thank you kindly. Had to return to Septimus now and give him back his cube. Again, I mostly skipped all of the dialogue. I don't do that all of the time, but I find this bit boring.
When that time comes, you shall take his place as my emissary. What say you?
No. No thank you. I'm okay. Anyway, Wretched Abyss aside, I needed to return back to Fort Dawnguard now that I've got the Elder Scrolls to talk to Dexian. Dexian was the moth priest that read the Elder Scroll for us, and now he had gone blind from reading the scroll because he didn't take the right preparations before reading it. So now I have to find myself a moth priest's knife to be able to try to read it myself. There is too many pretty locations in this game for me to try to be nasty and evil and fiery. Look at this cave. Come on. I'm trying to be evil here. Had to scratch some bark off this tree so the moths would follow me around. This is getting worse. Not enough moths to follow me, stood in this beam of light and read the Elder Scroll. It told me exactly where the Oriel bow was, and I blacked out. Or I whited out, maybe? When I woke, I told Serena exactly where the bow was. It was in a place called Darkfall Cave. When I went to leave, some stupid vampires attacked and one of them killed me. That's fine, though. Revenge is sweet. Take that, sucker. It's time for another lengthy section of this DLC. Now we're off to this cave. For the sake of the length of the video, I'm going to try to condense this area down as best I can, but I have to show you this section. This DLC did a bunch of cool things. This was one of them. Get sent off into a waterfall, spiders falling behind you. It was kind of terrifying, but also really cool. Looked back and there was the spiders. On my list of things that could kill me in this area, Serena was not on it. This was a surprise. I guess she was getting fed up of the fireballs hitting her every so often. It's fine, we hugged and made up, and then I found this snow elf, which I remember back in the day being super excited about. I'm such a Skyrim nerd. So snow elves are technically Falmer. You know, the things in the caves that can't see, but they still know exactly where you're at. Except snow elves not quite like that yet. That wasn't the best explanation, best I can do though. Snow elf said he can help me get Oriel's bow, but only if I help him kill his brother. Whoever made this DLC had family issues, jeez. But anyway, I had to fill a bucket with some water from each of these way shrines, and there was 5 of them scattered around the place I had to go. First one was nice and easy to get through, passed through this cave till I met this guy. He opened up the shrine and I filled my bucket. There was an exit to this cave though, made it out, and I was in a very cold looking area. Followed my compass till I got to a second way shrine to fill up my bucket. Followed the compass again to get to the 3rd one, filled up the bucket. Made it to the 4th one and filled her up. Yet another reason for this DLC to be one of my favorites of all time is a dragon fight in this area. There's not just one, but there's 2 dragons that pop out of the ice here. I knew it was coming, still made me jump. Slowly chipped away at these scaly boys, making sure to use my flame Atronach and Serena as bait. I wish I could show you more of this fight, but it took a while. Got a nice and easy double kill. Look at that, 2 souls for the price of 1. Another thing that I nerd out about in this game is when the game tells you the names of the dragons. All of the dragons have names, but they're not all visible when you try to search them or when you're fighting them. Too bad I can't pronounce like any of them, but moving swiftly along, there was a word of power up on the wall here too. Don't mind me, just having a stare down with this frost giant. Trying to decide if I could take him or not. As you can tell, I'm pretty easy to kill still, even with my upgraded Daedric armor on legendary difficulty. This game can be rough, so just gotta keep my distance and I should be fine. Pushed on till I made it to yet another cave entrance. So many cave entrances. Since that trap got me, I've been way more careful with these things. There we go. I'm so sick of going in and out of these caves. Oh my god, here's the exit to this one. Nope. Didn't get me. Nope. Didn't get me. Can I be done with killing these Falmer now? Finally made it to the last shrine, filled up my bucket, and that was 5 of the shrines visited. We needed to head off to this castle so we could get Oriel's bow and kill that snow elf's brother. Now we empty out our water into this little thing here, and this door will open up for us, and we can enter the inner sanctum. There he is, the snow elf's brother. Had a delightful chat with him before he made his statues try to kill me and he dropped a ceiling on me.
Are you alright? Come on, we can do this. I know we can. He's up there on the balcony.
So not only was this guy a snow elf, but he was also a vampire. Look at those eyes. Broke out of Serena's hold, and we had a fight on our hands. I gotta admit, this was a pretty cool area to have a fight with a snow elf vampire. No match for my fireballs, though. Took him out, and he had some pretty cool ancient Falmer gear on him. Kept those, don't mind if I do. Had one last chat with the snow elf we met in that cave, and then proceeded to grab Oriel's bow from this way shrine. Now that we have that, I talked to Serena and she said how it's time for the big fight and we need to face her father Haakon. Yeah, I really didn't expect this part of the game to be so long when I went into that cave. Really lengthy section and I loved it. But I had to go do some inventory management because my pockets, oh my god, full of stupid stuff I didn't need. Wasn't long before I was back at Fort Dawnguard speaking to Isran.
But what of Serana? Can she be trusted to lift a blade against her own kind? Her own family.
Dude, she is right there. It's nearly time to beat this DLC. Isran rallied the troops of the Dawnguard. Yep, that last clip was at the end of day 61, and this is early morning, day 63. That's how long this fast travel is. Yeah, I had a pretty epic fight on this bridge before we pushed on inside where the battle continued. As fun as this was, these vampires stood no chance against me in the Dawnguard. I felt sorry for this poor guy. After clearing out the vamps, it was time to finally confront Haakon.
Are you insane? You've destroyed our family. You've killed other vampires all over some prophecy that we barely understand. No more. I'm done with you.
So I totally forgot about Ariel's bow for a little bit, which made this fight interesting to start out because he kept healing and I didn't know what to do. But the way it worked is I'd have to get his health down a little bit. And he'd go in the middle and I'd have to whip out Ariel's bow and shoot him to prevent him from healing. What made things worse is I only brought 4 arrows. I was not prepared at all. We just have to be careful and make sure we hit every shot. If we miss a shot, we can also go pick up the arrow again, but I didn't want to risk doing that. Lucky for me, 4 arrows was enough. Took the final shot and watched him turn into ash. We are done with this DLC. Had some pretty cool loot on him too. Took Harkon's sword, black soul gem, lots of potions, thank you very much. I did keep Serena as my follower. I kinda like how she's mostly ranged attacks and doesn't really get in the way of my fireballs all too often. Returned home now to restock on some potions, only to find that Lucia had brought home a fox. I guess she's bored of that dagger I gave her already. I hit level 90 destruction on day 65, which means I could get the master level destruction spell quest to pop up, but it wasn't popping for me when I was trying to talk to Ferelda. Can trigger at level 90, but a lot of the time you have to wait till level 100. I wasn't getting it yet, so I guess I have to wait. Picked a totally random side quest in my objective tab. This one was called the Pale Lady. My notes aren't very clear as to why I picked to do this side quest, but here I am doing it. Had to banish a Pale Lady, which just looked like another wisp mother to me. But it's fine, I like banishing things anyway. Take that, Pale Lady. You are now ash. I took the pale sword. I didn't even know I was coming here for it, and the quest was complete. I wanted to see how far I'd come now. Earlier in the game, I never would have stepped foot anywhere near a giant and its mammoths. But now, with my infinite mana and my new spells, these guys stand no chance. Give me that toe, giant. You're gonna be a potion. Killed a fair few giants to gather up some giant toes, and made some pretty expensive potions. Went back to check on Ferelda to see if she had that quest active, and still nothing yet. In an attempt to get my destruction spell higher, I went dragon hunting. Ooh, I found a Daedric piece. My destruction is not budging though. I figured we shouldn't be doing just random things to level up destruction, and we should work on a main quest line. We've done the Dawnguard DLC. Next, I wanted to do the Dragonborn DLC. Had to go on the outside of Windhelm to find a guy that would take me to Solstein by boat. As cool as this DLC is, and I really wanted to do it, I messed up and I didn't know that you had to do part of the main quest line to be able to trigger this quest. So once I made it to the island, I couldn't really do a whole lot. I could do all of the side quests, but I couldn't do the main quest line. So I guess we have to ditch this and go back to the main island and try to just continue on with the main game story, which we had not touched for a very long time. The next thing I had to do was climb 7,000 steps to go see the Greybeards. Yeah, we're on our way up that mountain. But not before I turn these farmers' wheat into health potions. But here we go, I'm ready. 7,000 steps, here I come. Not too bad along the way. There's some bears, there's some spiders, there's some trolls. Got a really nice view of Bleak Barrow from here too. Once I met the Greybeards, they taught me a bunch of words of power. I then had to demonstrate my Thum to them, which is my dragon voice. Learn the whirlwind shout. This will come in handy in the next location I'm going to. Basically lets me dash forwards really fast. And then they sent me off to try to find a horn of some kind. So this is where we can decide to go off and do the Dragonborn DLC. After we finish this dungeon, after we've done the Hul Horn thing, we are good to go with the Dragonborn stuff. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna just continue with this questline now. I'm looking at my notes right now, and I realize that I've spelt Droga different every single time I've wrote it. But there's loads of Droga in this area. These final kills with the fireballs are really cool. Remember when I said that whirlwind shout would come in handy? This is where it comes in handy. I had to run past these rocks really quick and burst through these gates before they closed behind me. There was a lot of traps in here too, couldn't really touch the floor here. We'd get burned. Powed on through those traps though, till I got to the ends. These stone statues raised up for the Dragonborn. Nice, nice. And I was off to get the horn. But plot twist, it wasn't there. Someone already took it and left a note. Rent the attic room at the Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood, and I'll meet you, a friend. So I did. I rented the room, and the so-called friend returned the horn.
Attic room, eh? Well, we don't have an attic room, but you can have the one on the left.
The so-called friend was Delphine, a member of the Blades, a group that used to hunt dragons. Tells me that the dragons weren't just gone somewhere and coming back, but they're coming back to life.
Dragons aren't just coming back. They're coming back to life. They weren't gone somewhere for all these years. They were dead, killed off centuries ago by my predecessors.
And with that knowledge in mind, we were off to a dragon burial site to discover Alduin bringing a dragon back to life. Alduin wouldn't stick around though. As soon as he brought the dragon back to life, he left and I had to fight that dragon. Killed a bunch of dragons up to now, and this is the first time this happened. Really cool when they slide along the floor like that. Wasn't long before my flames were too much for him to handle and he was down. Sucked up the dragon souls so Delphine knew I was in fact Dragonborn. And then she told me how she thinks the Falmore embassy might have something behind it, so we need to find out if that is true. These are the guys that come to make you start the Dragonborn DLC. It's too late. You had your chance. Delphine says we need to try to sneak into a Falmore embassy party somehow. And to get started with that, I needed to take a trip to Solitude to talk to a smuggler. The smuggler was this wood elf called Malborn, told me to give him some equipment I wanted smuggled into the party, which means I'm running around Solitude naked for a bit. I gave him my Daedric armor, a necklace, a ring, and some potions to heal myself. Let Delphine know that I'm ready to go, and she says I can't go there dressed like this.
Can't go to a party at the Falmore embassy dressed like that.
Dressed like what? I have no clothes on right now. My fancy party boots and clothes on, and I'm ready to get in the carriage. Once there, I show off my fake invitation to this Falmore wizard, get her drunk to cause a scene at the party so I can sneak off with Malborn. He shows me where he put my smuggled in stuff. I get all of that back on right away. And then Malborn left me alone to start burning some Falmore. In this chest was the information I needed, snatched that, and then a little later, somehow when I was fighting some Falmore, I managed to kill Malborn. Worked out great though, because I did need to harvest some wood elf blood for another quest. Snuck out to the Falmore party through this trapdoor, and then I was off back to Delphine. Back at Riverwood, I told Delphine that the Falmore had nothing to do with the dragons, but they were looking for someone called Espern. Espern was another member of the Blades who had been hiding out in the Ratways down in Riften. I have zero interest in getting involved in the Thieves Guild questline right now, but this is the guy you talk to if you do want to get involved with it. But I do have to talk to him to progress this main storyline, and he wouldn't let me get to the point until I did something Thieves Guildy. So I stole something from this box and planted it on this person to get him in trouble. Then Brynjolf gave me the info I needed, and it was off to the Ratways. I took off my Daedric armor earlier when I was trying to be sneaky, and I totally forgot to put it back on. This was nearly bad. I was butt naked. The Ratways are the sewer systems below Riften. A lot goes on here, like the Thieves Guild live down here, and there's bandits hanging out down here, and there's just all kinds of crazy stuff going on down here. Found Espern behind this insanely beefy door, told him about the whole Delphine and dragon stuff, and he let me in. Talked about how hopeless this fight was, and that we needed the Dragonborn to beat Alduin. Once he found out I was Dragonborn, he agreed to accompany me to Riverwood to talk to Delphine. What is with the go here and the back and forth in this game? In Riverwood now, Delphine and Espern had a nice reunion. They talked about how we had to visit Skyhaven Temple so we could read Alduin's Wall to see how he was defeated in the past. Got into a fight with another dragon. This one was a revered one, and I think these ones are my favorite. They just look really cool. Sadly, even my favorite things in this playthrough must die. Skyhaven Temple was located inside this cave. Once inside, I was met with some bandits and this puzzle. Well, I guess technically they weren't bandits, they were Forsworn, but yeah, just turned these things a couple times and then the bridge fell and I was on my way. There was a few puzzles in this place. Puzzle number 2 here, I had to step on these same symbols all the way along to create a path. And if I didn't stand on these, if I stepped on the wrong ones, it would set off the trap. Kinda worried that Serena would come behind me and trigger the trap by stepping on the wrong ones. Made it to the end, pulled the chain, and we were good. I made it. Skyhaven Temple. To get inside, to gain access, it needed my blood at this weird kinda culty circle. Then this door opened up, giving me access to Skyhaven Temple. There it is, Alduin's Wall. Espern read the wall and discovered that there was a shout that was used to defeat Alduin back in the day, but there's no way just by reading the wall to know what shout that was.
Guess there's nothing for it. We'll have to ask the Greybeards for help. I hope to avoid involving them in this, but we have no other choice.
I'd still not given that horn to the Greybeards yet that Delphine stole, so I gave that back really quick. They taught me a couple more words of power, which was nice, and then they all screamed at me at the same time to acknowledge me as Dragonborn. Now how's about that dragon slaying shout, huh? They weren't too happy that I'd been helping out the Blades, but told me that I needed to learn the Dragon Wren shout, and then said I had to go talk to Pyromaniac. Pyromaniac lives at the throat of the world, so the Greybeards give me a final gift, which was the Clear Sky shout. Needed to use the shout to clear the harsh weather to gain access to the throat of the world. Made it to the throat of the world, and I was almost crushed by Pyromaniac. Watch your step, buddy. He wanted to taste my thum, so he taught me the first word of the fire breath shout. Kinda weird, but any chance to cast some fire, I'll take it. I asked him about Dragonrend and if he can teach me or not, and he said no, he can't.
It cannot be known to me. Your kind, Jaw, mortals, created it as a weapon against the Dove.
Told me how Alduin had never really been defeated and that the Nords back in the day used a Dragonrend shout to cripple him and then an Elder Scroll to send him forward in time. Now this was nice because I already did the Dawnguard DLC, so I had the Elder Scroll already. I give it a read. And this was so I could go back and see the past to learn the Dragonrend shout from its creators. There is so many layers to this story and I love it every single time I hear it. Watched as the Nords cast Dragonrend on Alduin so I could learn it, and then witnessed him getting sent forward in time. There he goes. And I left my vision of the past, found out that Alduin had made his way up to the throat of the world. Now that I had Dragonrend, I could cast it and force him down to the ground. Had a nice little routine on the go, and cast a bunch of fire spells, then as soon as he went up in the air, shot out Dragonrend, forcing him back down. Didn't take long before he was down on the ground, looking tired as heck. This wasn't the time to kill him, though. He retreated. This isn't good. Pyromaniac is well and truly broken. What's going on here? Couldn't interact with him, nothing. I had to talk to either him, Esperin, or Greybeard. I picked Esperin and he told me how Alduin probably went back to Sovngarde to consume souls to heal up. And then said that once upon a time, Pyromaniac was Alduin's right-hand dragon. It's time to die for your crimes, sucker. The dragon rendered the absolute heck out of him and then blasted him until he was dead. Greybeards aren't gonna like that, but let's go Team Blades. So now, somehow, we had to try to capture a dragon to find out where the portal to Sovngarde that Alduin was using is located at. The Whiterun Jarl's palace has a dragon trap in it, but the Jarl jerk won't let me use it until there's a peace treaty between the Imperials and the Stormcloaks, because he's worried Ulfric will attack at some point here. So it was off to Windhelm for the first time to speak to Ulfric, and then over to Solitude to talk to General Tullius, made them have a meeting at the Greybeard's palace, negotiated some control over land, and now I'm ready to capture a dragon. Now that a temporary peace treaty has been made, it's back to the Jarl to talk about trapping that dragon. He said we were good to go, so I casted the Call Dragon Shout. This might have been my favorite moment in the whole playthrough here. Oh, nailed him. After shooting him a ton of times with my flames, I realized I had to use the Dragonrend shout to get into lands. He walked on inside and we got him with the dragon trap. I had a chat with him and he said how there was a few dragons that started to doubt Alduin's reign. Said if I released him, he would take me exactly where the portal to Sovngarde is. And he did. He stayed true to his word. I got on his back and we were off. You idiot. This isn't close enough to the portal. Had to walk a little bit. There was a load of dragons here and Droga. This dungeon is known for being one of the hardest dungeons in the whole game. Rightfully so though, because this is technically the end of the game. Lots of tough Drogas in here. There was spiders, there was puzzles. I have not used Fusrodar this whole playthrough. I'm gonna have to fix that. So many heckin' dragons. Between stealing the dragon souls, then yeeting the bones. Now I don't know why, but some reason this dragon priest was missing half of its health. Not gonna complain too much, this makes my life easier. Took what was left of his health out, and there's the portal to Sovngarde where Alduin is hiding. Here we go, we're in Sovngarde now. I realize how quick I'm going through the story here too. I thought this would take us pretty close to the 100 days. Now I did have to use clear skies a few times. It was foggy in here. Look at these skies, holy crap. That is pretty. Got a glimpse of Alduin while walking down the path before I met this hunk of meat. He wanted to test my strength before letting me into the Hall of Valor. Oh wow, that guy hits hard. Not to worry though, I'm basically the best alchemist to ever live, and there's nothing some healing potions can't fix. Proved I'm worthy, and he let me cross the bony bridge so I could talk to the heroes of Sovngarde. The 3 heroes from my vision of the future when I read the Elder Scroll were here in Sovngarde, and the plan was that we're gonna team up to defeat Alduin. We went outside, back across the bony bridge, all casted clear skies at the same time, until finally Alduin showed his face. Now this should have been an easy fight. There's a lot of people that can just take the hits from Alduin and I could stand back and cast my fireballs. All I really had to worry about was the rocks and fire falling around me. That was the big issue here. But I did get greedy and I got a little bit too close. He targeted me and yeah, I died. I've assumed that everyone played the game and knows how this works, so I didn't really explain, but basically the way this works with killing dragons in Skyrim is you are Dragonborn. Only the Dragonborn can fully kill a dragon by devouring its soul. The ones that Alduin were bringing back from the past weren't killed by a Dragonborn. There's no sending Alduin to the future. This time, we're gonna consume his soul and kill him forever. Anyway, made sure to stay back this time and not get too close. Again, there was a lot of things that could take all of the hits for me, so there was no need for me to get hit by him even once. Here we go, the final shot. Just like that, Alduin was gone. Talked to the Man Mountain and returned back to Skyrim. I got sent back to the throat of the world where Pyromaniac lived, and there was a ton of dragons waiting for me. They didn't attack though, they were all just standing there looking at me. Pretty cool moment, but they left so I could continue with my adventures. Took a trip back home next. My inventory have gotten pretty messy and I needed to unload. A personal goal I wanted to do. You remember that shout the Pyromaniac gave me? It was called Fire Breath. Well, there's 3 words to each shout that you have to try to get. Each time you get a new word, it makes that shout a little bit stronger. And being a pyromancer, figured Fire Breath would be a good one to get all of the words for. Had a fight with this chump dragon. I just killed Alduin. This guy is not going to be much of a match. Just get out of here. The second word of power for Fire Breath was inside this cave. There was an issue at the end of the cave though, because there was 2 fire mages and they were totally resistant to my fire spells. And if Serena managed to get their health down a little bit, they would just heal right back up, so I couldn't really kill these guys. I sneaked on over to grab the word of power and I left. And now I have the Inferno word. To unlock it and make it stronger, we have to spend a dragon soul that we consumed. 1 word left to get and then we're done. It's in Dustman's Cairn. This really sucked because I couldn't get to the word of power without continuing on with the companion's questline for a bit, and I didn't really plan on doing it yet. But I did really want that final word of the shout, so it was off to join the companions in Whiterun. Once inside Yavaska, there was this fist fight that seemed like it went on forever. Went downstairs to talk to Kodlak, the leader of the companions, stole a Daedra heart mid-conversation. Had to fight this guy to show my strength. This part was being a pain because Serena kept trying to help and was turning the whole town against me. Made her wait inside and tried again. Easy this time.
Not bad. Next time won't be so easy.
There was a lot of grunt work just running around, passing swords to people and shields to people. I just defeated Alduin, for God's sake. They even sent me to kill just 1 Falmer that had been causing them trouble. There was a Dwarven Centurion I had to fight though, so that was cool. After some silly grunt work, I was sent to go get a fragment of Ufrad with Farkas. Ufrad was Iskramor's ex, and the fragment was located in the place where the final word of power for Fire Breath was at. So technically, after this place, we don't have to keep doing the companion's questline since I have what I wanted, but since we've started it now, I kinda want to finish it. I got to this room, pulled a lever, and I was trapped. Some bandits end up surrounding Farkas, and he shows off by turning into a werewolf. Yeah, they're well and truly dead. There you go, nice and comfy. This room was definitely one of the more memorable rooms in Skyrim as well. Got the final word of Fire Breath at the end of the room. Give me that. Fragment of Ufrad. There was a lot of high-level Droger in this room, but helped me level up my destruction at least. As soon as I made it outside, I unlocked the final word, which was sun, and tested it out. It wasn't too powerful if I'm being totally honest, but it's gonna be nice just for an extra gust of fire every so often. Back at Whiterun, I was made an official part of the companions. Had a lovely chat with Kodlak. He talked about how he thinks being a werewolf is a curse and he was looking for a cure. And of course, I got sent on some more jobber nonsense. Seriously, I keep saying it, but I just killed Alduin and now I need to have a fist fight with this jerk. And let me tell you something, this was the longest fist fight in history. He was doing no damage to me, I was doing no damage to him. I was here for about 20 minutes straight, not even joking. Also, I'm in Dawnstar right now and I'm not sure how I got away with this because he's the god of the Jarl. After roughing him up, I returned to Farkas. This time, Skrull wanted to talk to me and told me to meet him in the Undergrove at night, which is this really well-hidden cave in Whiterun. A fellow companion named Aella was inside, transformed into a werewolf. Skrull cut her arm to fill up this bowl full of blood. I took a big old sip and now I'm a werewolf. My first experience as a werewolf wasn't too exciting though. I just hung out outside of the Undergrove until the werewolf transformation wore off. Totally blanked out and then woke up somewhere. I didn't know where I was.
Yours was not an easy transformation, but you're still alive. So congratulations.
I was at Gallows Rock, which is a Silver Hand hideout. I'd not talked about them yet, but the Silver Hand are werewolf hunters. Skrull had already run ahead, so we were playing catch up, me and Aella. Made a big mistake in this room, I just run straight in. I should have stayed back and let everyone else take all of the hits, but nope. I'm gonna regret it. There we go. Second attempt went miles better, just hung back and blasted away. Remember when I said Skrull ran ahead of us and me and Aella were playing catch up? Well, he went and got himself killed, didn't he? Sorry about that, buddy, but your gear is pretty cool. I'm gonna put that on a mannequin in my house. Aella wanted us to get revenge now, so it was off to this location to kill some more Silverhands. The gate was closed. Not gonna stop me, I'm just gonna jump over the wall. When I was inside, I finally got my destruction to level 100. I took a dagger off the person's corpse that I killed to get to level 100. I'm gonna display this back home. Now I was pretty excited. I was running through this place pretty quick because now I could get master level destruction spells. Oh, and I also found my first piece of dragon plate armor. Some gauntlets. Likely not to use those right now, but nice to have. Before running off to get the master level destruction spells, I wanted to head back home and display that dagger that I found on the guy that got me to level 100 destruction. Dropped it in this display case and closed the door. Nice. Back to Winterhold now to talk to Ferelda. She did have the dialogue to trigger the quest I needed. Gave me this book, but I had no objective and location to head to. And I couldn't remember where I needed to go, so it's time to use Google. Now, I think I might have done this wrong, okay? So I went to this location here, I had to put a book on a pedestal and then cast a spell at it. I cast the fire spell first. I thought I had to go find 3 different pedestals and do 3 different kinds of spells, so fire, ice, and electric, and then read the book and I get all the master level destruction spells, but when I read it, I only got the fire one. So while editing, I think I figured out how it works. You're supposed to put the book down on the first pedestal, cast the fire spell, then consume the book's power. Then same with the second pedestal, you put the book down, cast an ice spell, then consume the book's power. Finally, go to the electric one and do the exact same thing. Put the book down on the pedestal, cast the lightning spell, and consume the book's power. That's how you get all 3 master level destruction spells. Only really needed the flame one anyway, so I'm happy with this. Day 90 now, and I'm on a quest to get another fragment of Ufred. Wanted to take the chance to use this new spell as much as I could. And it is nice, but there is some bad things about it. There's a bit of a wind up, and if you get hit between charging it up, it cancels it. Not my favorite spell to get result, but it does look the coolest. Went ahead and returned that fragment to the companions, then Kodlak wanted another chat about how he didn't want to be a werewolf anymore. So the werewolf curse was given out by witches, and Kodlak wanted me to go kill one of those witches and bring back a head to help him lift the curse. Now I only needed to kill 1 witch and bring back 1 head, but there was an optional objective to kill all of them. So you bet I did it. Made it back to Jorvaska only to find out the companions had been attacked by the Silverhand and Kodlak was dead. Oh, and you know those fragments of Ufred that I've been running around collecting like crazy? Well, they've all been stolen. Why does he have no clothes on? Talked about how much I love the skies and some of the stories in Skyrim, but this one, the Silverhand End, is not one of my favorites. I know there's more to the story, but more just the Silverhand themselves. I wish they had at least like a named bad guy at the end. The bad guy at the end is just an unnamed Silverhand grunt. I don't know, Silverhand got done dirty. I do love this game though, I promise. I killed that stupid unnamed leader of the Silverhand, grabbed the fragments, and I was on my way. Back at Whiterun, they were having a funeral at the Skyforge for Kodlak. The blacksmith said that Kodlak had one last piece of the fragment hidden in his drawer next to his bed. Went to the undercroft with all of the companions, and then the blacksmith came in with Ufrad fully repaired and gave it to me. The main reason why Kodlak didn't want to be a werewolf is because when werewolves die, they go to a different place than the hero Nords go. And yes, he is dead, but we can still lift the curse. I have those witch's head that he sent me to get still. So he was off to Isgrimor's tomb, gave that sucker his axe back. I will be taking that coin purse. He gave his axe back so this door would open up pretty much. I couldn't remember what to expect in here, but yep, loads of companion ghosts. Now I totally did this on purpose. I was trying to get my deaths to a nice and round number. There he is, Kodlak's ghost. Told me I should throw the witch's head into the fire, so I did. I then had to beat the dog in him. This wasn't too difficult, honestly. Very, very easy stuff. Named me the new leader of the companions, and his curse was lifted. Can still kind of see it. Oh, there he goes.
Did I hear right? Did he say you were to lead the companions?
Yep, been here 2 seconds and I'm the leader. Take that, Ayala. Companion questline is done. Now, I wanted to do Meridia's beacon. Found it in a chest ages ago, and you get a quest alongside it. If you do the quest, you get a pretty cool Daedric artifact. It's like a fiery sword. It's unlikely I'm gonna use a sword since I put no points into one-handed weapons, but I still kinda want it. Meridia is a Daedric princess, and her temple now has some kind of darkness in it that she wants me to destroy. Gave her back the beacon, and she raised me up in the sky. Had to talk to her. She told me I had to follow the light through the temple. And to do that, I had to find these ball things and click on them so that the light kept on moving through slowly. I guess these corrupted shade was the darkness that seeped into the temple. Weren't too difficult though. Again, as long as I stay back, I'm normally fine. Now inside that room is Dawnbreaker, the fire sword that I'm after, but it's being guarded by some kind of ice mage that ruined my nice round death count. I wish I could kill him 21 times to get revenge, but I can't. One will have to do. There she is, Dawnbreaker, the sword that carries Meridia's light inside it. After I took it, Meridia took me back up into the sky, had to talk about how I can keep the sword, and let me go. Burns for 15 points, and when killing undead, a chance to cause a fiery explosion that turns or destroys nearby undead. Pretty cool looking sword, but like I said, likely not to use this thing. I spent most of day 96 just doing miscellaneous things on my task list, like summoning Durnavir, the zombie dragon from the Dawnguard DLC. I do not know why I was not using this guy. Could have used him a fair bit throughout my time here. Returned to this guy to say that I'd given the Greybeards supplies and he rewarded me with some coin. Talked to this guy, I can't even remember doing this, but I supposedly got him out of debt, so that's nice. Pretty sure I got this quest from the Dawnguard way back and I forgot to do it, but had to go kill a vampire leader here. When I got married way back, I had an objective to come and see my husband's house and I never did it, so now is a better time than any. Better late than never, right? I did steal from his safe though, he doesn't need to know. I hope you've enjoyed the first 100 days of Skyrim here. I wanted to wrap up by climbing up to the peak of the throat of the world. This was kinda awkward, but it's fine. I have a horse and these things are really OP for climbing. Now this is why I bought a horse, not to use as bait, but to climb this mountain. There is a reference to Minecraft up here if you didn't know. There's a notched pickaxe you can find, but I'm not here for the pickaxe. I'm here for this glorious view. Look at that, dragon flew past at the perfect time. It's time to cast one last fire spell before signing out.